Take them out. I'm going to go to here we go, you know.
I just have, evident enthusiasm.
So. We'll see. Yeah, just the basic stuff.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's 7 p.m. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting, the city council meeting for Jervis, Thursday, May 7th, 2026. Please stand for pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just be. You get away there. Well, because I hear.
What? You get us?
Here.
Councilman Ray.
Here.
Councilman President Ray.
Here.
Councilman Gould.
Somebody on.
Here.
He's working.
Okay. And still have. Our favorite.
We still have a favorite.
Oh.
A favorite.
Everything's usual.
Okay, moving on. City manager, are there any additions, deletions to the agenda? Sir, changes. Okay, thank you. We're going to move on to public comment now on non-agenda items. The city council values and welcomes public input on city concerns. Please address the city council as a whole rather than individual members. The council may direct staff to follow up on the concerns or issues as the matter for a future council discussion. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person with an optional 2 minutes for council questions and answers. If you wish to address the council, please come forward to the desk with the microphone and identify yourself by name and address for the record, please. Come on up.
You want to go first? I'll be telling you.
Everybody doesn't know this is my wife.
Good evening, council, mayor, and everyone. I just wanted to press the button. Is that better? Much better. Who's already come? Anyhow, my name is Mickey Wagner, as the mayor said, I am his wife. I live at 166 East Hemlock Drive here in Jervis. And I just wanted to let you guys all know, and anybody that is watching the live stream, that we do have the Culpeper Meriwether Circus that will be coming to town May 23rd and 24th. There will be 2 shows Saturday, 2 shows on Sunday. You can purchase tickets online by taking a photo of the QR code of the posters that are around town, or you can get a hold of me. I have tickets as well. But hopefully we'll have a good turnout. This is our 10th year the CPT has done it, and we're pretty excited. So, thank you.
Thank you. Next, please. Come on up.
I'm the next contestant on The Price is Right.
Welcome, welcome.
What do I win? Audience. 3 minutes. Good evening, everybody. My name is Miyuki Miller, and I live at 725 Calmia Avenue in Jarvis, Oregon. So I have several topics to talk about. First and foremost, I'm very upset with the 3% fee increase to use my credit card or debit card when I pay my water bill. I did the math. I called and I found out that there's roughly about 740 residents in they get water from Jarvis. And if you calculate $2.87 on a standard $95.75 water bill, if you collect that times 740 residents, that's $2,138 that the city collects on a monthly basis. If you were to calculate that times a year, the city would collect $25,485.60. How can you, with the times right now, charge us to use our credit card or debit card or even pay it online? That's causing an inconvenience to the customers. You're having to force us to go buy checks. Who writes checks nowadays? You know, or take time out of our daily
routine to come in and pay between the hours of 8 and 5, not including their closed hours for lunch. How is that fair to the citizens? My next question is, the city collected $170 deposit 4 years ago. What are you doing with all the money that you collected, the $125,800 that you have collected from all the citizens in the past 4 years? Why are we getting our deposit back? Where's the money going? What's it being used? Is it being saved? I need accountability for my deposit. And my last complaint that I've been dealing with the police chief is that trouble house right across the street. 760 Talmia Avenue, where the owner is currently incarcerated. The police, there's nothing that they can do, but yet there's squatters every day. And so the police chief tells me that there's nothing they can do because of the fact that the owner gave permission to his cell block mate. And she gave keys to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. And so he tells me that there's nothing they can do, but there's a House bill that helps the homeowner, if we can get the homeowner to sign an eviction. And you can expedite the eviction by submitting House Bill 3522, which it was signed by the governor at the beginning of the year, that gives the owners 24 hours to clearly evict the squatters. So if we can get Richard, the homeowner, to write that eviction, we can get those problem people out of there. Because there's 4 cars there that have come from God knows where, all kinds of shady people, and with squatters come problems. I don't feel safe in my own home, and I didn't move to Jarvis not to feel safe. I'm paying taxes, I'm paying my home dues, and nothing's being done about that. Like I said, I respect the fact that the law enforcement can't do anything, but if we can advocate on behalf of the homeowner to get those people out, that would make myself and the rest of my neighbors feel safe. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Have you actually had a chance to talk with City Manager Rick about any of the water bill issues?
No, I have not. I just got the news when I paid my bill, and it was told that I'm great. So now I have to go get a check, and it's not the receptionist's fault that the fees went up. I'm just complaining to whoever does have the power to change that, because as you know, gas prices are up, food prices are up. Why should we have to pay our bills? The idea is to go paperless and cheaper and faster, and that only comes by doing it digitally or picking up the phone and saying, "Hi, Desiree, I want to pay my bill." So no, I have not had the opportunity to talk to him about it.
Okay, I would appreciate if you actually could, because I know for a fact that 3% charge for that is one of the options that was there. There's other options available that some of us use. I know it really sucks, 3%, I wouldn't want to pay it, so I don't. So, but then again, the city manager might be able to discuss what the other options are with you, and also what about the deposits.
So the 2 options that were offered to me, check or cash. That is my only 2 options that I can exercise without having to pay that 3%. That is the only 2 options that I was given. So I don't know what else he knows that I.
I'm just regarding myself. I know that we use a bank. We just tell our bank, hey, make this payment a month, and we don't see, don't touch it, it's automatic.
I charge that, but there's a charge for that.
To the bank?
That's what I was told. There's a charge for automatic.
I think what he's talking about is bill pay, where you set it up through your bank account.
Bank account, yeah.
Instead of using your debit or credit, it's actually put in your account number. So it's almost like a electronic check.
And it's free.
But,
Okay.
It is
and the 3%, it goes to the credit card company, not to the city.
Yeah.
So it's not, but I'm just saying, I'm just educating you. So the credit card company's limits.
Right, and
that.
I did the legwork on this, and yes, Visa allows the companies to charge the maximum they can charge is 3%. It used to be 4%. They lowered it to 2%. So there's some states that don't have to abide by that. But yes, I did the research on the user agreement and for paying your bills, and 3% is the max that anybody can legally charge right now to use a credit card or debit card in any given transaction. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
No, I appreciate you coming up and talking to us about this. Would anybody else like to come off public comment?
Ladies first.
What?
All right.
Go on, Michael.
Oh, Michael.
All right. Hello, everybody. Michael Gregory, 345 7th Street, Jervis, Oregon, 97026. I've been asked by the manager to complete the firework application, and I have done so. As the city's pyrotechnic, I now completed the application is ready submitted to the city. Item 3 on the list is the check or money order for the firework, and number 6 is to mail it to their address. So the police chief has signed it, the Woodburn Fire Department has signed it, so this is ready to go.
Beautiful, thank you very much.
I do have a question now. It's time for me to submit the list of fireworks and how much money. So that's why I'm here to know what my limit is or how much am I spending this year. If you don't know off the top of your head, don't shoot from the hip. Somebody email me and tell me what my budget is for that.
Okay.
Yeah. And is there?
I will do so.
Okay, also as being the former chair for the 4th of July, is there a committee anymore?
We were trying to get one in. weren't able to, so
I don't even know how I lost it. I mean, I was doing it for 20 years.
Yeah, when we actually came in, there were actually no documentation for any committees. And we reached out to try to find more committees, so more people to volunteer for them, and nobody has, so that's what's going on with the committees.
All right, I have no lawn, so before I get ticketed, figure my night.
For the 4th of July, is he talking about gathering somewhere where we can safely set off fireworks and have a display? Or
No, what, Jervis actually holds our own 4th of July fireworks display. And it's right over here in the field every year. And he's the pyrotechnic, he's the one that's been doing it, setting fireworks off with, working with the fire department every year for it.
Okay, a follow-up question with that. We have neighbors that put fireworks after the 4th and nobody does anything about it. There's residue and debris on my side, and I fear for my house catching on fire. What can we do to resolve that issue?
Well, I know for a fact there's a new sheriff in town, so I'm hoping we're gonna see something different this year. We got a new police chief, he's been hiring new police officers, and code enforcement is something we're definitely looking at very strongly.
Oh, I will be calling you.
Yeah.
We've already spoken. Oh, okay. Thank you for that.
Last call for public comment. Doesn't see anybody hands raised online. Not seeing any. We're gonna move on to number 6, consent calendar. City council minutes for April 9th, 2026. Has the council had a chance to read through them? Does the council have any questions on it? None? Would somebody like to make a motion to approve it?
I make a motion to approve the consent calendar for April 29th, April 9th, 2026.
My second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All approved. We have no scheduled public hearings, so we're gonna move on to old business review of the strategic plan. Rick?
In your county packet, on page 6 and 7, is the actual council goals, strategic plan. And, it's been 5 months since these were created by the council, almost halfway through the year. It's also the meeting prior to when you'll be looking at the budget, which will be in June. So I thought that perhaps brief synopsis conversation about where we are with our goals, things that are working and things that we're still being challenged with. So if you kind of turn to page 6, you'll see some of them are highlighted as it relates to items. The first subsection was financial sustainability, where we talked about your expectation. But keep in mind, the numbers on the far right indicate your sense of urgency in us addressing these. And so we staff kept these in mind as we've been working through the year. But the financial stuff is coming together. We have a lot. You have seen monthly finance reports over the last 3 to 4 months, which councils have not seen in years. So I like to be able to say that this one actually has been completed or achieved. The next one has to do with accounting records and reconciling funds. We had our audit for 24-25. Audit staff was here in the building Tuesday. They've been working on that audit. And it is not yet completed, but in the way of updating and maintaining and reconciling our funds, there has been significant progress. And I would hope that by the time your council meeting on June 4th, I will be able to bring you a factual report as it relates to the balance of our funds. I will then your staff's assess. Payment processing software. Later tonight on your agenda, you have a proposal from a software company that we are recommending to the council to acquire new software from our current software program. I think originated 2013 or 2009.
2009.
2009. In software terms, that's ancient. And there has been no significant updates to that since 2009. And I wouldn't say it was a contributing issue, but it definitely increased the challenge in addressing the financial challenges that the city has faced in the last 2 years, based upon not having user-friendly data available to you. So tonight we'll be talking later on about finance software. So in that first section of the things that you would like to see happen, things were either done or were in process, and giving us a grade for this one, definitely I would submit to you a B+, A- type score based upon month 5 of the strategic plan. Is there any questions about this particular section as related to financial responsibility that you would like me to expound upon?
The last line, I know in the budget meeting that program got consolidated,
It did not.
so we still have,
It's inactive. It's
But
got
it's
about
on there.
$9,000 in it.
okay,
There hasn't been anything spent last year. And I'm not sure what the intent is for next year. So, but we didn't change it. We didn't close it.
okay.
Mostly because last year's budget meeting, the budget committee was pretty adamant about it. And while I didn't write the budget last year, I did hear about the DARE fund. It's sort of, I wouldn't say a pet project, but anyway. But no, there's been no changes for the DARE fund other than the fact we haven't used it.
Is that something, Chief Morris, that you're interested in assisting with? Absolutely.
In what way? I'm wondering what you're asking.
I'm not familiar with the program. I know that she was familiar with the program, and I believe that the police came and hosted some kind of.
They did some classes with they did classes like with the 4th or 5th graders at the elementary school.
Yeah, I'm familiar with there, but I didn't.
But I don't know what all they did inside the school. I just remember my kids being a part of it. And then at the end, I think the money sponsored them to get a shirt. is kind of what it was used for. I don't know exactly, but that's what I was.
DARE has a bunch of program materials, and I'm sure that that's probably what it was expended on. Pretty much the efficacy of DARE has been proven to be ineffective. And at some point, my recommendation would be for us to reallocate that money into some kind of a community program that helps us with the kids. It may not be a direct thing like that, but the efficacy of DARE has been pretty much statistically proven to be ineffective. And there's a lot of other things where you can engage the students and spend as much time with them that's being proven to be far more effective.
Anything else from the financial section? We'll move on to the second one. Public safety. Identify options for code enforcement. Hire a police chief. Complete recruitment and hiring of additional officers. The pedestrian safety is a part of our attempt to get a transportation system plan financed, and we have submitted a grant app for that TSP. The cleanup event occurred very successfully. Improving communications with Marion County. So of those 10 or so items, we have made attempts or approaches on at least half of them, including 2 or 3 of the high priority ones. I see good guidance from the council as to what you wanted to see happen. And quite honestly, I see positive reinforcement from where staff has put their resources, city resources to work to make things happen. Not everything's done, not everything will get done, but I'm very comfortable as to where this particular element of our strategic plan is at in month 5 of our year. Any comments or questions about this one? Third section is community development. We've got a lot of work. But the planning stuff it takes longer to make happen. Quite honestly, I'm surprised from the strategic planning process, the amount of planning type activities the council has prioritized. Updating the city code, well, we're looking at updating the city development code. You have 2 workshops scheduled for June and July for the housing code. Complete phase 2 of the pump upgrade. Identified resources. There are a lot of areas that we still need to work on. We attempted to create the planning commission to work on code stuff, and that has not been successful. But here we have a lot of areas still in the infancy as it relates to moving forward.
I wanted to go back to the public safety. I understand that we just hired the chief. Welcome to Travis. I would like to find out how I can become a member of the neighborhood watch program, because we have problem neighbors. We have what I call, excuse my French, the village idiots. They're 2 grown men on pocket motorcycles and little tricycles that they use, that little roundabout, that encloses our community. They know that the police leave at 6 o'clock, 7:30, 8, 9 o'clock. They're out there using that area as their own personal speedway, because they know no law enforcement is going to show up. They're not going to do it. And I hate to say this, but somebody is going to get killed, because we come around there slowly because we're aware there's children, but those guys don't pay attention to whoever's on the road. And now other kids in the neighborhood have gotten electric bikes that they used to speed, no helmet, no license, nothing. And like I said, I hate to say that, but mark my words, somebody is going to get hurt, because everybody knows there's no oversight, there's nobody watching them. So if we can create, I would be the first volunteer to be on that neighborhood watch. Because I'm one to see something and I will say something.
Believe it or not, we actually do have a neighborhood watch. It's only 3 members right now.
Sign me up.
But so, I'll give you my business card after with the meeting, please, okay?
Okay.
Well, I'd love to have another person on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
What exactly does the neighborhood watch do? Just document stuff and then report it to?
Well, the first thing it doesn't do is it doesn't ignore it. So if you notice something, you identify it.
So you
bring it up,
can-
you make phone calls. You don't confront people yourself first, of course.
Right.
But yeah, so
You
it's pretty
can-
much just identify,
Okay. Oh,
take care of your neighbors.
right. What about speed bumps also? How expensive is that to put into residential neighborhoods?
We haven't had any serious conversations about speed bumps.
We have in the past, the big problem with the speed bumps is with the county roads, it's dang near impossible,
Well, I mean,
but
this is in a subdivision.
residentials, biggest thing we have to fight against is the fire department.
Okay.
The reason that they don't like
I
them,
remember you saying that.
yeah, so the fire departments, the fire trucks, it actually slows down the
Every
delivery time for put on fires and emergencies when they're all over the place. So that's the biggest problem with that.
So then how do we resolve the issue with those joyriders? And now that the new apartment complex is over there, they use that like their own speedway coming through all the time. They're going there 30, 40 miles an hour. I mean, boom.
And they do go fast.
And it's like, they don't pay attention to pedestrians or kids. There's at least 3 basketball hoops that kids are out there every night enjoying the summer like they should, that nobody's watching out for them.
My personal opinion is the more attention that's brought to it, is the more you're going to be seen and heard, and the more people might look into it a little more. You know, so the whole thing is about recording. If you see some report every time, it doesn't really matter. You know, they get multiple calls at a certain time during certain days, you know, you could go, well, guess what? Maybe we need to assign somebody over there between these hours. But it's all about recording it, make sure it's recorded.
Can you put the reader, the speed reader? I remember I had talked to, I don't know if it was Officer Camacho about it, you know, I'm on Greenfield. And, we talked about that, but, we didn't talk about it after or anything, but I think maybe if that's put on there, because I know, yeah, it's just people going pretty fast.
I can check with the police chief. We have in the past, before he was here, we've borrowed one from Woodburn plenty of times and things like that, so it might be possible we don't have our own.
There's one in the garage.
There is one in the garage?
Yeah, we have
one.
Oh, hey, that's something new.
And we need to put it on Winfield, because that is the thorough way of boom.
I know I've seen on Ivy quite a bit.
And, maybe reducing the speed limit. I remember we used to live, where you live now, that Nikki, did that. She talked about, there's a sign that's only 20 miles an hour, 20 miles speed limit. So maybe that's something that can be adjusted, put on there, you know, and a speed sign. Instead of, you know, it is residential, and yes, children are playing on the streets now that it's, you know, summertime, and maybe that will help, I don't know, maybe not, but if there's more patrolling also, now that we have, hopefully, new police officers. I know we've been just 1, 2, which is unfortunate, you know, but hey, you know, we're just trying to do our best with what we can right now with the police department, but once we get more, maybe just target, you know, patrolable areas that are more problematic.
Information is key.
Yeah.
Feel free to email us too.
Yeah.
You guys can email us if you see something that you want addressed further.
Yeah.
Send us an email, because we respect everybody's time. We want to keep this moving along.
The next area is the economic development area. And this one is coming to life. It was coming around once the budget process got almost put to bed. It's become the priority as it relates to your senior staff. And I am meeting with Setcor monthly. I met with Marion County Economic Development Specialist about 3 weeks ago. All the cities in Marion County received economic development funding support with the exception of us. Because somewhere around 2021, 2021, they initiated a program called community prioritization, in which the county provided dollars to the cities with that they could spend on anything that fell within the wide realm of being in the county economic development plan. And the city received a total of $60,000, $15,000 a year for 4 years. And the requirement was that the city provide an annual report, it was actually a form, as to how they spent the money. We never submitted. So the second round of money, we did not get invited to participate in the program. And currently, the cities of the county are getting $20,000 a year. They're in year 2 of 3 of the second round of this program. And they can spend it on stuff as long as it was economic development related. We are not receiving those funds, and until we can go back and track down how we spent that $60,000 and complete the form, we won't. But my point here is we are reaching out to our state partners, we're reaching out to our county partners, we're reaching out to SETCOR, and we are engaging their expertise and their services. The planning team is starting to look at individual commercial properties within our town as to what they're being used for versus what their zoning is for, and what we can do to motivate and incentivize improvement of some of the downtown properties especially. So this one has sort of been laying fallow until we got through the budget process and is coming alive. And in the next 3 months, I would anticipate we'll see some significant, at least conversations about what staff is doing with economic development funding and priorities that the council is putting before us.
Question, if we don't figure out where that money is, are they still going up now? Everything's kind
We haven't explored that option yet.
What year was that?
2020.
1, 2, 3.
$50,000 a year. We have found copies of the checks, so we know they exist. But we don't know.
What else? Spent on.
My suspicion, and it is a acceptable use, is that some of that money got put in with a wastewater treatment improvement project, which is considered economic development because it is expanding the capacity of our sewer system. I anticipate that I will be attempting to document, and prove that's where it went. But our finance staff, including myself, has had other things going on. Transportation, applying to ODOT for funding the transportation system plan. They accepted our pre-app, which means, yes, we've been invited to apply. Adopted TSP, we're working to fund it. Apply for a small city allotment. This one is actually not happening because we already have a small city allotment grant and can only have one at a time. And until we expend the funds that we've been awarded the funds, we haven't received the funds. Until we expend the current project, then we can apply for another small city allotment grant. But that's what's happening on the transportation one. Marion County staff have been listening to us as we talk to them about the traffic pattern changes and the effect of our economic development. That's just north of us. And they have talked about doing some modeling of how we might want to address that. The county is going to apply for a safe route to school grant on our behalf to put sidewalks at the four-way stop. So there will be a county project, or it'll be a city project. County understands, or at least accepts some level of moral obligation, maybe, would be, best way to put it. And they put our sidewalks for one block each way at the four-way stop. Their school project plan. Haven't heard timeline for that one yet, but I know it's on their plan. And the last area there has to do with growth management stuff. Establishing a planning commission, which we redid. Oregon Housing Needs Analysis workshop for the council. Initiate urban growth boundary on June 1st. Staff from the Oregon Housing Department and staff from the Department of Land Conservation and Development and city staff are having their first sit down with the housing department as it relates to the urban growth boundary. There has been some recent legislative changes about how you can do a one-time change of your urban growth boundary in order to address housing needs. They're still working on the administrative rules right now. But the legislation has happened, the rules for it hasn't. And that is the conversation that's going to be happening on June 1st with Department of Land Conservation Development staff and Oregon Community Housing staff and city staff. The message that we have been conveying to our state partners is you're telling us we need to provide more housing on one hand, and on the other hand, you're saying can't extend urban growth boundary. Make up your mind. But we're working on this one, and that's where it's at. So I think that sort of concludes my prepared remarks as relates to where we are with the strategic plan. I think it's important that the council, either individually or as a group, at least sit down and look at this every so often. It's not a document that we intend to allow to collect dust on the city manager's desk. It is a document that guides us as we run through our resources, limited what we made. And I would encourage council to review this again prior to our budget meeting next time. Because it takes money to do a lot of these things. How we spend our funding, what we spend it on, is determined. And this was a guide, the strategic plan was a guide that I used to write the proposed budget. But, we all have different ways to get to the same accomplishment. If there's something else the council wants to see happen, relates to the budget, based on the strategic plan, I hope you take the time to review and share that. I'd be happy to respond to any particular questions as it relates to this quick overview of our strategic plan.
Question.
Rick, can I ask, there's been some commenting going on that's negative towards the council mayor in regards to Governor Kotek meeting with Mayor Lonergan and the Woodburn Council about building 600 homes. What I've been seeing and hearing is that our council and mayor and city admin were involved in those communications, and that it's just like you guys really don't care, and that they're gonna come and take us and we're gonna be from Woodburn. Were you guys involved in that? Or because as far as I know, after talking to Mayor Lonergan, it didn't sound like it. But I just like to clarify so that people know the actual facts.
the city of Jervis, to my knowledge, had no involvement whatsoever with the housing bill, the housing stuff, the conversation between the governor and Woodburn. I've met the mayor a couple times at economic development business events, but I've never had a housing conversation with, and the city manager of Woodburn, I know fairly well, I've known him for years. But housing has never been a significant conversation in any way, shape or form.
Same with the mayor and council, nobody has had any conversations with that? No? Which
Didn't
is what
receive
I
invites.
said. That's what I said, I just want to clarify. Thank you.
The only thing I've heard was that Woodburn does wanted to come take over Jervis.
I actually asked Mayor Lonergan, and he said they have no intention of doing that. They would like to work with Jervis. And they don't want to take over Jervis. They've got a lot of people and a lot of things that are going on there, with new businesses being built.
Yeah, I heard about the
New homes, yeah.
I had a nice conversation with the president of the city council when I went to the LOC convention. And we had a nice just walk and chat about, you know, being neighbors and building a better relationship and working together. That's pretty much all we talked about. Yeah.
That would be the best.
Yeah, I
They're
agree.
sister cities. so
Yeah, sister cities.
Yeah, and Frakes has actually talked to me several times, you know, he's spreading out, he's coming south too, but he doesn't want to take over Jervis. You know, he's definitely coming south.
Maybe the community does though, you know.
The things that I'm hearing is that the community is concerned that, the mayor, council and admin have been in cahoots with them. And that they, you know, they just really don't care anymore about
Yes,
their
I-
district's residents.
I'm not worried about any conspiracy theory stuff anymore. Anything online, I don't listen to that stuff, you all, you know that. I'd like to stick on the agenda, please, so let's move on to number 9. New business resolution 26-014. Ready?
Mr. Mayor and council, this is a resolution regarding rates, designation of rates as it relates to what the approved budget. Keep in mind, our city budget is proposed by the budget officer, approved by the budget committee, and adopted by the council. So this resolution actually puts into effect the rates as approved by the budget committee. Now, there's a couple of reasons why you're looking at it this month instead of next month. Typically, you are required, or at least expected, to give 30-day notice before you raise rates. We approve it at the June council meeting, means the rates don't go into effect until August 1st, because we got to go 30 days. So doing it tonight allows us to make the rate effective July 1st. So this rate resolution increases the water rate, the 5% as was proposed, and increases the stormwater fees to cover the fees and costs we have for our new PMDL study that we're required to do. And it also does one other significant thing, and that is that it brings into comparison, it brings into equalization the code as relates to determine an equivalent dwelling unit that's already in our wastewater code. Our wastewater code clearly states that a housing unit is an equivalent dwelling unit. An apartment is an equivalent dwelling unit. Our water code does not do that. Clearly. Does not define it as it relates to each apartment being a base rate in black and white. It implies it. So the three significant things of this resolution is the water rate increase of 5% effective July 1, the stormwater rate increase effective July 1, and the designation of an equivalent dwelling unit for every apartment for water service, just like it is for wastewater service. It's before you, and staff is recommending that you approve it It was written by our city attorney, so I think it's in legal review. Um, so if you've got finance questions, you would ask me. Technical stuff, legal, you'd ask him. With a great knowledge of the water system is sitting here on the left. So, staff is recommending approval to this, resolution. And we hope that you would move forward.
Okay, so to recap, it's basically, we are just now implementing the things that were previously passed, as well as the addition of the stormwater, right? And then also clarification of what a unit is. So this clarifies that.
Yes.
I have a question. So if you're imposing a rate increase on our waters, does that mean that you're gonna reevaluate how much you charge each house? Cause right now I'm paying $95.75 a month. That's for two people, and I highly doubt that I use $95 worth of water every month.
It shows you on the next page what the base rates will be.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and we're just implementing rates that were already approved for the prior city council. They were just never implemented. So we have to, otherwise we're gonna be upside down in our water rates. I make a motion to approve resolution number 26-014, a resolution establishing rates for the water and stormwater utilities in the city of Jervis.
We have a motion and a second to approve. We do a roll call by name. Councilwoman Geddes,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ray,
Aye.
Council President Ray,
Aye.
Councilman Gould,
Aye.
all four ayes.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. That rate increase will be effective July 1. Well, that's not how we budgeted for too.
Right.
But unfortunately, we just end up eating
Yeah.
1 month of delay.
Thank you.
Next item on your agenda, Mr. Mayor, is a resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement. Our staff, our public works staff, maintains a good relationship with our regional communities. Everything from borrowing people to borrowing equipment to education and information. And as a result of personal contact within our staff and other cities, this resolution is before you this evening. The city of Staten reached out to 3 communities asking if we would like to engage their services for the purpose of televising our sewer lines. Now, watching televised sewer lines may not be your form, but for some of our public works people, it is. And they get paid to do it. It is really the #1 base tool to look at the condition of our sewer lines. They erode, they corrode, they erode, they dissipate, they actually even disappear based upon the acidicity of some of the flow that goes through those lines. And you really want to stay on top. If you catch it early enough, you can reseal, you can run a foam liner down the interior and never have to dig the line up. It's about tracking the condition of our infrastructure and the investment for our infrastructure. So this is an offer from the city of Staten to provide this service, which we currently pay at least twice as much for a private contractor to do it, and developing a working relationship with another municipality in the way of instruments and supplies, and the fact that they have a nice camera system. We don't want to go out and buy it. It's a win-win for us, but it is an intergovernmental agreement, which requires a council approval and is before you tonight. Again, comes to the intergovernmental stuff, I can answer your questions. If you want to talk about the actual sewer stuff, you'll have to talk to Public Works Lieutenant, who has spent his time looking at sewer lines on TV.
See, the service is also for cleaning, so it's cleaning and inspection.
Yeah, they're operating that as well as, emergency services, I'll give it a basic breakdown. Their standard, price that they have in this IGA is roughly right at half of their emergency rate is half what they are same services, at the same time. So it's, they're obviously not in it to make profit, but they are extending their service to kind of justify them buying a new vac truck, which has a bit more capacity and capabilities in our trailer for some of our ones. And the camera is a very healthy investment that they have made. The cost that sharing with us.
But personally, you had me at half the cost. What do you think?
It's, yeah, it essentially, get twice as much done, same price, and get a better long-term budgeting plan for fixing the most egregious leaks in the system for I&I.
No, it looked like a very straightforward, good contract, and if we want to cancel it, it was like 30 days notice, which is nice. That's really easy, and then they would also give us notice that said in there if the rates go up. So that's also nice.
But they were girls.
Right. Yeah, they got the insurance.
Carrying their own insurance that we don't even have to worry about, so. That looked all good to me. Are you gonna bring them our new tobacco?
They have a bit more equipment than we have. Long drive.
Rest of the council, have any questions?
Need a motion?
Please adopt the resolution.
I make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-016, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement, IGA, between the city of Jervis and the city of Staten for the purpose of a service agreement for sewer cleaning and inspection service.
I second.
We have a motion second. We'll do a roll call vote starting from the left. Councilwoman Geddes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright.
Aye.
Council President Wright.
Aye.
Councilman Gould.
Aye.
All four ayes.
Mr. Mayor and Council, tonight we are introducing the concept of getting new finance software, which was among the items mentioned in your strategic plan. We have received quotes from 3 different firms. We have looked at, and one of those 3 options was to upgrade our existing one, which is not an option that we would recommend. You have in your staff report, starting at page 30, actually 4 different staff reports. You have comments from our consulting CPA, which was also in your budget packet. You have comments from Amber, who is the finance director for Sheridan, but is the previous CFO for the Council of Governments, and also did some work here with Preston when he was your interim, helping with finance. So she's well aware of our situation. You have comments, my basic staff report, which, is basic. And then, of course, comments from our finance specialist who was in the room tonight. So we looked at 3 different outfits. Sheridan, which was where Amber is currently employed in, actually has the next level up of our existing software.
This is what we're not recommending.
She highly.
Well, I wouldn't want to say that with a microphone on, but yeah. But no, we've looked at 3. This is not the cheapest one. This is, in my opinion, the best fit. Our size of an organization, what we have, what we need in the way of appropriate finance software. Your finance specialist is in the room, the city, and can provide additional enlightenment. But she is, we're the third city that has employed her services, I believe, as well as private operations. But again, we looked at three significant options, and this is what we're bringing forth. We don't have a contract tonight. We do have a proposal. Proposal was in your packet, including all the money costs involved. This particular proposal was used when this budget was written, and the cost for this is within the approved budget that the budget committee approved. It would take a full year. This is not going to be a quick flash dash there. This would go live July 1 of 2027. We're using what we've got for another year, no matter what we take. But we want to make the switch, the change of the financial year. The new year's on July 1. And we would take all the time between now and then to make that happen. And this is our best recommendation. I'm asking tonight for a motion to negotiate a contract, and we already know what the cost is, and bring it back to you at your next council meeting with the budget adoption process next month. But I'm asking for, and you have a draft resolution to look at, but I'm asking for permission to continue to pursue this with the selection of this option and plan accordingly for your formal adoption once we have a contract. I would encourage you to inquire of our finance specialists as you deem appropriate. And I would strongly encourage you to look at the comments that I've provided you in writing within those staff reports. We took the time to look at this one. We knew it needed to be done. And timing of what was finding what we wanted is what led us, not what was the cheapest option.
Thank you. First question I have for you.
Yeah.
Is, because I mean, people are going to be asking, they want to know, everybody wants to know. I know the CPA, yourself, Rick, other people looked at this, other cities are using this and say this is one of the better ones. But realistically for this city, what are the pros and cons? You know, what are we getting out of this, spending a little more money compared to what we have now? What's the differences?
For one aspect, when I do invoicing for the properties, right now I do it in Excel. It doesn't go into Tyler Tech Encode software. So I have to print off Excel spreadsheets that look like an invoice, give them to Desiree to have at her desk to be able to code when someone comes in and pays. And what I like with Cassell, when I used it at the last city I was with, city has the same size. They did not have a police department. And we did everything in the Cassell software. You do your invoicing in the software. Then when your managers or staff want to see an AR aging report, you give them an accurate report. Same with the accounts payable. You can give them an accurate aging report that tells you exactly what's going on. Right now, I have to basically take my Excel spreadsheets and go, hey, Rick, here's the people that still owe us for the property. Whoa, why aren't they paying? And I have one person out there that I keep having to hound and bug. And now I'm like, oh, before you do this other project, you need to pay up. So, and the other thing that I like with Cassell, their support is there to help you every step of the way. Dayton was the city that I was with before. They actually had a serious issue happen with their importing of payments. And I had to call and get support to help us right away. because we were having problems with people were like, hey, I paid my bill, what happened? And they worked with us throughout the process to get us up and running and make sure that everyone's payment matched up. And they worked with me to verify no one would get a bill that showed, oh, oops, sorry, we didn't record your payment. We made sure that everything was accurately reported.
So this will also lessen the chance of wrong information being transferred to, like less human error because you're doing it on the spreadsheet and then you're giving it to her and then she's then putting it again, right?
Correct. Correct. It just makes it, follow through. Plus, the thing for me is like when the other day, I had the school district came in to pay theirs. And the gal gave me the stuff and gave me her copies of the invoices. So that then I don't have to go into Desiree's area to go, oh yeah, I have to grab those. So after the school district left, I grabbed out her copies to just keep everything together. But yeah, it just processes it, makes the process go smoother. The other thing with Cassell, you can import and export out of the software. With Encode during this last audit, I was doing more of the importing, trying to get things exported the right way for the auditors. And there's like 5 steps you have to do it. And it's like, can you guys make this simpler? Can you make it easy for us? And with Cassell, you just have a Me Excel and it's so easy to import in your budget and it doesn't take many steps. What I heard from Sarah for the budgeting, she goes, it's gonna take you a while, so you're gonna want your door shut or work after hours when no one's around. So you'll get interrupted because when you're doing it, if you miss a step, you gotta start over. So it's just many steps you have to do with the other.
Basically, it's a lot of risk mitigation with the new system. I'm hearing most of the fact that it'll prevent, from what I've heard, it'll prevent the issue we had recently whereby you couldn't go back and try to pull the work from a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So it'll store more data as well.
Correct.
Okay, and then my other question is, did you guys get any surprise bills from them in Dayton? Like, cause I'm just reading through the contract and there's like kind of some extras, I mean, excuse me. You know, like can be charged up to $10,000 depending on frequency and reason if we miss a schedule or something like that. So I just want to make sure that Dayton didn't get any surprise billing.
No, we did not get any surprise billings. And they had certain modules they didn't use. They actually, for their payroll, used an outside private company called Paychex to do their payroll. And I was like, why don't we have the software do it? If we know how we're doing payroll, why do we have this other person involved? So, yeah, but they didn't have any surprises. And what I liked is we didn't have days, or in some instances, I had a week, I had to wait for customer service. And the only reason I got someone to come call me back was because I went to our regional manager who never reached out to us. And I said, why don't you reach out once in a while? Like once a quarter, even once every 6 months. I said, you never reach out. And then she brought up a prior staff member's name. I'm like, they aren't here. So I was like, you need to have updated ways to get things done.
And using the new system, we wouldn't have to worry about third-party payroll vendors anymore.
Correct.
Yeah, everything, this would wrap everything up in-house. So payroll, the stuff for the judge, the police department.
Like payroll here is in-house. What I was referring to is not my old job. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the average time savings the new program you think will give you a week?
I would say in a week, it'd probably save me 5 hours.
Another factor is, I believe that Reportly, which is our electronic citation program, will communicate directly through an API application interface with Cassell. So instead of having to manually upload your, all the citations, that it would be able to be uploaded and talk directly to Cassell.
Thank you.
Cool.
I have one question, because I was looking at the financial stuff, how does that affect our budget going forward? 26, 27?
We implemented it.
I use
This
this,
is the new software.
Yeah.
I use this proposal to increase the amount of funding in the professional services. Correct?
Correct.
In the professional services, and so the 85, that is transfer fee, is within the designated funding out of the professional services throughout the entire budget. And we will not have an annual fee in 26, 27, since we're going live on July 1, 27. So part of my logic was to spread this out a little bit, paying for the upfront fee, 26, 27, our annual fee will start in 27, we'll start doing it.
I have any more questions.
One more thing. Nuggets? For the list?
So, question, in regards to the stuff that the services we have now, right? We know we've outgrown those and that they're outdated. With this new software, how long do you think, based on our city size, because you've worked with it before, right? So based on our city size, how long do you think that it would be before we would have to upgrade again? Do you think this would be something we could use for as many years as we've had the old stuff?
Yes, because when I went to the CIS conference in Salem in February, I was talking to a lot of people in finance and others with the cities and trying to compare, hey, what software do you use? No one was like, they're like, we stay away from that Tyler place. And code, no, don't go there. And then I'm like, what about Cassell? And they're all going, yep, that's the one that was more sought of. And when I was doing my research, I reached out to a little bit larger cities than what we are. And just to kind of see, in Mount Angel, they told me, we'll never leave. At least at this point, we would never leave, and we've been with them. I think they were with them for like a decade or more. And I like how the infrastructure of Cassell, that they can work with the police department, help with minimizing the data entry, because data entry, there's so more chances of causing error. The other thing that I have not liked with this current system is when I go to do my AP batch each week, I have to put it in that day. I can't just do a little batch at a time, because in case somebody goes in and messes with my batch, then I messed up. So I always just right before I'm gonna cut checks, I'm doing a bunch of batches. And then if Rick or somebody else comes in wanting something, I'm like, okay, let me see, where was I at instead of each day doing a few to have them in the system.
Well, and the other thing too was, I know that they asked, like, Liz asked, like, how many hours does it save you roughly? But if I think about it, you were having to do work and then pass it on to Desiree. So how many hours will that save you, Desiree?
If just it doing the court side of it, because I have to input every citation individually, that'll be a good amount. I'm not sure, like, I don't know, 3 hours maybe.
So it saves 8 hours a week. Right.
What we're looking to do is, I had Deanna start those projects, like she said, back in February, looking at all the different places and software programs that we could utilize. But yeah, we're looking at the cost savings of their time can be put towards other projects.
I had another question. How safe and secure is this system from being hacked?
When I was at Dayton, they never had any issues and we had IT support that made sure that the updates were done, everything was backed up. We didn't run into an issue of ever having information hacked into or anything.
Because we've had issues, I'm pretty sure everybody's aware, hospitals have been held hostage to their information, banks, municipalities, PGEs, things like that. So how can we be sure that your system that you're wanting to bring in is protected against hackers and manipulation by outside entities?
We work with the Woodburn Tech Company, and I think they use the same program too. So I actually had our stuff tested, like our security tested, when I went to the law conference. And it was actually really good. I think there was like one little thing that the guy was like, oh, you guys could look at this, but other than that, you're pretty set. So yeah, that's something that we could do for free, is they'll kind of test our security and see where we're at. But yeah, we have some resources we can utilize for that to make sure we're good. So if we do this resolution adoption.
Resolution is for next week.
Okay, perfect. That's what I wanted to make sure. I just want to make sure we're not signing a contract yet.
Right now, you're just looking for verbal.
Go ahead.
Yeah, agree. James, agree? Yep, okay. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Again, this was a serious, well-researched effort to provide you with where staff is at.
Thank you, Deanna, for all your work on that.
You're welcome.
The next item on the agenda, Mr. Mayor, is renewal of our annual agreement with Love Inc. I gave you a copy of the existing agreement, which was signed in March of 2025 by your city manager. I provided a copy of this to our city attorney, of course. They would like me to come and sign a renewal on June 2nd, which is prior to your next council meeting. But essentially, it's a great program. It's a great benefit for us. We provide a substantive amount of funding to them, and they deal with individuals who come to them seeking financial assistance for utility billing. They take care of the interviews. They take care of the determination. They take care of, they provide the kind nonprofit side of our operation that sometimes our business can't. One of the probably one of the early surprising lessons I learned as a city administrator is that a city cannot give a price break to nonprofits or give a price break to churches or anything like that, because if you have state or federal funding, which we all do for water systems, they won't fund you. It's a question they ask for a grant or a loan. So, you know, Love Inc. does a great job for us. They're well respected within the community. They're doing this for both Hubbard, Woodburn, and Jervis. So they've got a lot of experience. They would like to see an annual renewal agreement prior to July 1 of every year. So it's before you tonight. I am asking for your blessings to continue that working relationship with Love Inc., which will include a $5,000 check with the renewal signing on June 2nd, if the council approves.
I'm also with Greg to help to be able to get that because I'm a volunteer of Living. I've been volunteering there. They're really great people.
I had a question. It's like a big question, I guess. Do we know if we have any funds left over at the end of every year?
I know that we still have $2,700 in credit based upon the last $5,000 check. I do not know when that last $5,000 check granted, but I assume it was with the last signing of the agreement, which was March 3rd of 2025, or sometime in March of 2025, I guess. The Preston signing agreement in March of 2025. I do know we have $2,700 in credit as of my conversation with them last week.
That takes over all the questions.
Yeah, it's definitely a good program. There's a lot of families that do need assistance sometimes, and I've actually suggested they go to Loving when it comes to stuff like this.
Well, I make a motion to renew the agreement between the City of Jervis and Love Inc. for administering the utility assistance program and authorize the city manager to sign on behalf of the City of Jervis.
I second.
We have a motion second. Roll call vote. Councilman Geddes.
Aye.
Councilman Wright.
Aye.
Council President Wright.
Aye.
And Councilman Rule.
Aye.
All four ayes. We have it. Right, moving on to the next item on the agenda, staff report, city manager, please.
Mr. Mayor and Council, I need to start with a correction on a date. I notified you of council work sessions in June and July. For some reason, I made a note that they were on the same date. They're actually both on Thursday. One of them is the 23rd, one of them is the 25th. Somewhere I have which one. But you have two workshops scheduled on, this is for the Housing Development Code workshop on June 25th and July 23rd. And I have previously communicated incorrectly that it was the same date both months, and it's not correct. June 25th, July 23rd, both Thursday nights. Then we'll have a work session with a staff person from the Council of Governments who got the grant to rewrite our housing development code. So I ask that you put those corrected dates on your calendar. Based on future. I shared the information about the county economic development funds that we are not receiving. Election packets are being prepared for city elected offices. They will be completed by the end of the month. This is actually something we started the first week of January. And it has not exactly been a simple task based upon our rich history, but there are a couple significant comments as it relates to elections that I would like to share. Number one, the deadlines for filing are hard deadlines established by state law, which do not allow for the time for you to get your signatures confirmed. Well, if you show up at power 45 at the deadline with your signatures for office, guess what? You've missed the deadline because signatures need to be confirmed by the county prior to the deadline. That's the way it has been, that's the way it's always been, and that's the way it will be. The other comment I would want to add is that for the simple grace of our state legislature, there are now 2 filing deadlines. The incumbents for office have a filing deadline of August 18th. Non-incumbents, the filing deadline, August 25th. This is May 1st, both in this state and in anywhere else I have any personal knowledge of. So there are 2 filing. Anyway, packets are being prepared. They will be ready by the end of the month. The first day to come in and start the filing process is June 3rd. If you are an incumbent, your deadline is August 18th. If you're not an incumbent, your deadline is August 25th. Annual audit in process. The staff was here, auditor staff are here. Tuesday, stayed all day. They were scheduled to stay Wednesday, but said they didn't need to. They got everything needed. On Wednesday, we did some emailing correspondence. This morning, there was a 10 o'clock teleconference with our CPA consultant and our own finance specialist and the auditors. So they're making progress. I would expect to see a draft 24-25 audit by the end of this month, which means we'll have those figures prior to the council adoption of June 4th. That's all I have, but I'd be happy to answer any questions, you know, when we have no way of my written report and what I've already shared.
Next year, since we should have these audits done, we starting our new software. I'm assuming and hoping that our audit isn't going to be as expensive next year.
Our audit won't be as expensive next year, but next year we're still going to be working off of our current software.
Right.
But I would expect there to be a little bit of expense during the transition, but not much. What's going to make a difference is that we will not be using a consultancy papers. She's given 30-day notice, and she was hired for the purpose of getting us through the 23-24 audit, the 24-25 audit. And after she started the last of the material, she gave her 30-day notice to go with further plans. She's a resource for us, but as I've shared before, since our first check, which was cut in January of 2024, we have spent over $250,000 for that particular venue space. Not that it wasn't well earned, but the amount of funds that we have spent wasn't expensive. Hasn't been because of audio expenses. Did I answer your question?
Yes, we are preparing ourselves for the next audit, and I like to hear that.
I'd be happy to answer any other questions or resolve this city manager report. I will be leaving the state tomorrow, and I will be acting city manager. You should receive a memo on it. I'll be back on 15th, a week from tomorrow.
Have fun.
Next step for police department.
Before you is a packet that's relatively comprehensive. I'm not going to go through 9/10 of it. I'm going to jump around. First, the state of the police department operations. This is pretty much the end of my second month, so we're at 8 weeks. And coming in, I had, after meeting with all of you guys for months prior to even accepting this, I had built a pretty good idea of what I thought was an evaluation of where the department was at. Getting in here, I realized that I severely underestimated the state of this department. There aren't words sufficient, what I have learned in the last 4 weeks, to adequately describe what I would call a catastrophic failure of leadership on so many different levels that we have a challenge ahead of us. We're making really, really good progress. And we've made, a significant number of arrests, and I'm gonna talk about that here in a second. But, as we move forward, it's become evident that there is a lot more foundational work here that needs to be done in order to correct and remedy stuff that has gone on for a very, very long time. And that work is gonna definitely affect statistics and stuff, especially traffic enforcement. We're obviously working as much as we can with that. We've got one officer off with an injury, we've got another officer that resigned. We did hire a new officer, we've got another one that is probably gonna come over here. So I'm very pleased with what we've got. We picked up a volunteer that's gonna help with chaplaincy. And we picked up another volunteer that's gonna do firearms instruction, and we picked up another volunteer that is our crime scene photographer. And again, we've made a lot of progress as it relates to traffic enforcement. One of the things is we have very expensive electronic report writer citation issuing equipment. It hasn't been used for, I'm not sure how long, because the batteries were dead at the printers. And we've since bought new batteries, and so that fixes that. But going to an incident which really underscores my evaluation is that had somebody come into our office that wanted to report an animal abuse situation, come to find out, and I don't have the exact number of years, but I'm somewhere between 5 and 6 years. This person has been reporting a severe animal neglect issue that was going on inside the city, and has been repetitively turned away from the police department, saying that there's nothing that can be done. And this person came in with video and photographs. Within 30 seconds of viewing the video, clearly this was a criminal event. We started investigating it, spent a week writing search warrants and to go into the house. Ultimately went into the house. Over the course of this waiting period, there's a total of, that we know of, 15 dogs. 8 of them, 7 of them are deceased. One of them was rescued from the house just prior to us going in there, a couple days before this person came in and reported it. And upon execution of the search warrant, we recovered 7 dogs. And this person was also charged with, she was charged with 15 counts of felony animal neglect, and 1 count of criminal mischief 1, which is a Class C felony for digging up the city water meter. That was also brought to the attention of the police department by Public Works 2 years ago, something like that, and no action was taken from the police department for this person digging up the city water meter. So we did rescue 7 dogs, and in any kind of a situation like this, the police department always bears the cost of the investigation and treatment and care and lodging of the animals. The animals get seized as evidence and have to be held through the pendency of the case, or until the person relinquishes the animals. Long story short on this, the veterinarian that we are utilizing, the bill for that is up to $20,000 in that neighborhood. And that's being completely donated to the city. To give you an idea of the condition of the house, if you turn that page 6, you will see a picture of both Carlos and I looking like marshmallows. That's how we had to go into the house. This house is a significant health risk, a significant safety risk for fire department personnel, and we're working on trying to remediate that. But the amount of time that's involved in this case and some other cases has a direct impact on the number of citations, the number of other things that we have the free time to investigate. On top of that, trying to remediate all of the deficiencies. So I'm not gonna go into anything else in here unless you guys have got specific questions, but what I'm trying to do is provide comprehensive information to you, which I know in the past you have lacked.
There's a lot of really good information. We appreciate it. Helps us answer questions that people ask us.
Is the veterinary clinic donating those services?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to make sure we send them a thank you card.
Well, I'm gonna recognize them.
Yeah.
Before the council with an award, but because the location has to be confidential.
Yeah.
I really wanted to do that at this council meeting, but just for the safety of the dogs and the safety of the clinic and everything, we'll put that down the road.
It's the least we can do for them donating all that. Thank you.
And the very last page of the document has a table that identifies how much money we've been able to save this month.
I like that.
Thank you for the request on the lower speed on
Oh, you're welcome. Actually, Kyle came to me, he was already working on that, and then I just was able to provide support to him.
I'm very happy to hear that it's a good team working relationship right now between everybody. And I feel like that's helping the city move forward in a better traction. So I'm glad that you guys are happy.
Yeah, the morale and professionalism seen in the building now is so much better. It's very nice to see.
Good numbers.
Yeah.
Wanna come save money at my house?
I know.
And it's something I want to stress, this does not in any way negate anything that we need in budget or anything that we ask for in the future. I just want to really set that, the stuff that's donated is in many cases enabling us to do stuff that we would otherwise not be able to do because it's just not within the budget. And so the stuff where we highlight donations and reductions in price and partnerships, while it's good for the department, but it certainly does not negate the need for stabilized funding going forward.
Did we get the cameras fixed over on Hamlet Park?
We are in the process of that. I spoke with a utility company Monday. I saw them out working on a signal out on Highway 99. And so I went out and asked them, I said, would you guys be willing to donate your time to help us with wiring? And they said that typically that would be about $3,000. And they said they would be happy to come and do it for free.
Okay.
And I'm working with the camera company to get some cameras, and we need to have a fiber run, which the phone company is agreeing to do for no cost as well. But we need to have fiber run to the camera because what was using, what was being used in the past was cellular. They were using a hotspot that they had apparently somewhere up in that box that's on that pole. You are referring to the cameras at Black Walnut? Yeah.
It's been a while.
Glad to hear that's being fixed too. Awesome. Good progress. Anything you need from council?
Nope, we're good. Just the continued support. That helps us more than anything else.
If we can, we will.
Can I assume that the batteries in the fridge are now on a schedule maintenance program?
Yeah.
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 Thank you. Any other questions, police department? All right, Public Works, Kyle, please.
April was a very successful month. A lot of things were good, checked off the list, as well as a couple of the community events. On the 25th, we held our annual cleanup event, very successful event this year, even with the shortened timeline. We were able to remove nearly 30 tons, 29.8 or 29.9 tons removed. With the shortened timeline, that's outstanding. It did fall short of our record event of 36 tons, but there was more hours involved there. We had a total of 2 volunteers show up to the event. Our council president, Liz Wright, and our city manager, Rick Honbaum. they worked very hard along the majority of the public works team was able to make it. So with the 5 people there, really proud of what we accomplished one day. The day before that, on the 24th, we held our first official ceremonial tree planting for Tree City. Typically, it's been held in partnership with Fonzo. We are doing our own this year. We had 2 people show up in the crowd to watch, and yet again, thank you, Desiree and Rick. We hope to grow that next year. The tree was dedicated to the citizens of Jervis, the first annual. Next year, we're going to be looking at options for dedicating to former elected officials or city staff, or pretty well open. There's really no set rules for doing this. So that same day, Cascade Water Works officially completed the water filter project. We were testing it all day, backwashing it, removing any kind of sediment in there, and basically loading the filter with the chemical we use to treat. We deemed it ready for service, but being it's Friday afternoon, we didn't want to just turn it on and walk away for the weekend. So we waited until Monday and put that online, and it's been functioning 100% since. It's very nice to have the water plant back at full capacity. There's one valve on the other bank giving us a little issue. We are addressing that, but that's pretty typical of things of that age. Then we have the whole team's been busy out at the wastewater treatment plant, digging through decades and decades worth of spoil piles from leftover sidewalk removals, construction, asphalt pieces, piles of dirt. So we were making a very good headway, sorting, cleaning, hauling it out the way. Then on that same note, that's going to help us with our team deal implementation for our temperature. Should we need to add any kind of vegetation, able to access the creek. We had a DEQ regulator come visit us on the 5th of May to do a site visit in preparation for our implementation plan. And fortunately, this was about a week after I attended a meeting at Erin County with many other small cities going through the same struggles with this requirement coming in November. There's a lot of answers, a lot of questions needing answers. It's kind of a consensus that we are required to follow a set of rules that does not officially exist yet. So we were able to get a lot of that cleared up. Still more to come, but that is well underway. And we are now out of our discharge season and in irrigation season happens for the next 6 months. So we'll deal with all of our wastewater effluent on site. That's what the tree farm out there is for. They act like a filter, take up any kind of nutrients, and allow all the excess water to evaporate. And you had to touch on the 99 speed buffer zone. We had started an application process and was able to get a very good report from our new chief here. And I may have stolen some of that content to put onto the application, but it was officially submitted earlier this week. That's going to trigger a review from them, or what they refer to as an investigation. They'll look at the traffic counts, any kind of crash data, anticipated volumes, and see if it would be beneficial. As far as the timeline goes, I haven't heard anything back. They'll be underway officially, so that'll be nice to have. Then earlier in the month, one of our public works employees was headed back from Portland in our 2010 Ford F-350, and it suffered a tire failure on the freeway. So he was able to pull off safely, did minimal damage to the truck, basically just cosmetic, small piece of tire hit another vehicle. They stopped, made sure he was okay, didn't need anything, rubbed the tire mark off, so they refused to exchange any kind of insurance. But it is sporting a new set of tires, so it's on the new list. And, basically, the last thing on the list we already covered earlier about the IGA with the super state, so that'll be a good cost saving moving forward. Do you have any questions?
You guys have the video though.
The only question I have is about the clean water. And I noticed my room was a little bit cleaner after the last time we talked. Did you do anything? Did he die in there? Anything?
No. Not that I'm aware of.
Well, because I remember the Millers, one time he came up to me and said that they had put dye in the water to give us cleaner, fresher water.
We do use a chemical called potassium permanganate, and what that does is it coagulates any of your iron, manganese, any other your
That's what I'm worried about.
contaminants. So
That's my main concern.
so yes, with the new filters on there, their performance is actually exceeding the two that were replaced already. That's replaced.
Good.
And the next item on the agenda is the check register. Haven't we had a chance to read through it all? Do you have any questions?
I have a question on Pacific Office Automation. I see 2 charges for overage for copies. How do we get rid of this?
Well, the only way is to get rid of Pacific Office. We have 2 copiers, one in the police department, one in our administrative office.
Right.
The prior administration had signed the lease for what the contract would be for if you go over a certain amount of copies, you're gonna pay a higher price.
Right.
And the newsletter is what affects this mostly because that's on color. So, the only option that we might have is to check around with other printer places that do copies, that have copiers that we could lease, but every place will have where you have to pay the overage charge. If you hit a certain amount, we might be able to get a different agreement with Pacific Office to change how many our numbers are. It's, yeah.
What they don't know, that I'm already working on, is working on negotiating a different price for the copiers. I haven't had a chance to let you know that, but that's something I've been working on. I was gonna have some numbers for you, Rick, here within the next week. And actually working on what vendor we were gonna use, because I think that maybe we cut that bill in about half, from what I'm finding. So.
No, that'd be good. There are other places, so.
Yeah, this is be somebody other than Pacific Office Automation.
Yeah.
So that's something, again, they didn't even know that I was working.
Teamwork for 3 work.
I didn't have a chance to compare our fuel price from last month. Something we just kind of want to keep an eye on too. Other than that, look good.
All right, no other questions from the council. We will move on to the next item. Council business, mayor and councilors reports. Or is there anything from the council?
I kind of saw like a small thing that we kind of overlooked at our last, I don't know if it was March. Maybe it was March. We decided to put in effect a lot of our water stuff for the water bills and fees and stuff. We changed the due date on everybody. I think we missed that whole entire step. I think we all did not realize. We switched the due date from being like the 5th of every month to being the end of every month. I don't know if that's something that we want to try to correct or figure out, but a lot of people, colleagues of mine, that they're like, did you notice that it changed? It changed. You're all confused that we missed. We missed and changed the due date on everybody without actually putting it out to the city that we were changing the due date for the water bill.
It was in the newsletter. It was
In the newsletter.
online right away.
There's people that are pissed about that little newsletter, so they probably just chucked it. And then when they got their bill, they're like, why is my, they were like, why did I get a new rate, like, date change, so. I think people like having that grace period.
But then what other option is there to notify people? You try newsletter, you try this, and people, I mean, it's the city's fault that people are not reading the newsletter or that they're not going on the website. Obviously, some people don't, probably are very,
It's just a no-win situation. If we do something to help the community, they don't like it. If we don't do something, they don't like it.
exactly.
But I think everyone has known for, I've lived
Many
here for
years.
13 years.
Yeah.
The water bill's always due on the 5th.
Yeah.
So switching it up on them, I think was kind of like, I overlooked it. I didn't realize we did that. So that's why I'm trying to bring it up now, so that maybe we can correct it and help with some type of thing. And then maybe give a day grace period or a $10 late fee, because like it's due the 5th. You're getting a $10 late fee the next day. Could we give them a grace day to?
I thought we did, the 15th.
Right.
Did
No,
we not give-
no, we did not.
There's no grace period.
There is no grace period.
It's either due that day or you're late,
Yeah.
and so when I got the notice, I noticed that my due date had changed to the 29th. And so I spread it like wildfire to all my neighbors, pay the bill, or else this is gonna happen. I let them know about the 3% fee. But yes, you're right, I threw the letter out until I realized, I'm getting ready to pay my bill, like, oh.
I'm not trying to like call anyone out, because I mean, do I have the time to read the newsletter? No, it sits there, I see the bill, I'm like, okay, I have a bill to pay, so.
Rick, okay, comment please.
Did we not do a grace and do no late fees this last month?
For the first one, yes. Nobody got a late fee.
Nobody got a late fee the first month. And so we, we were considerate as it relates to, we were making a change. Some people understood it, some did not. Like we all feel about making changes, but we did know a late fee
This month.
this month. So.
I didn't know there was gonna be a no late fee. I was told that late fees were gonna be applied.
Yep.
So,
But that's gonna change next month, because,
no, I get that.
no, we didn't know late fees first month. It was not clear, and there were communication issues, and people were questioning, and the amount of interest that it brought to our attention. I made an executive decision that, no late fee the first month, let people get used to the change, and we'll move forward.
How do you justify the $10 late fee charge?
Well, we've always had a late fee charge.
Because I never been late.
There's just like, there's no grace period, so I was trying to bring up that maybe we put in like a day grace period. Because hitting you the next day with a $10 late fee is kind of rough.
Yes.
Cost of staff time. That's what it's for.
Right.
The grace
Well,
period
I'm-
is that you know your bill is due when it's due.
I get that.
And actually, with our current software, our options are a little bit more limited as it relates to how we can do that. Oh, we recognize based upon, no, we recognize that there were issues out there. And so we did no labels.
Well, there's a lot of immediate changes that are taking effect with some of us not being aware. We have the late change, we have the 3% increase, so you're hitting us with, right off the bat, $13 worth of fees if we don't pay our bill on time. And then if you use your credit card or debit card, you get a 3% charge. That's $13 that people are not aware that you're gonna be charged, because now we changed the due date, we charge for this and we charge for that. That's not fair to us as residents of there.
We had a whole open town hall. Everybody was welcome to come discuss this before we made any changes.
Discussed a date change. It was just put in the papers and we all never said anything about the date change. Because I looked over it. That's why I'm bringing it up now is we all looked over it. We had a conversation about increasing the fees like we're supposed to, like the 2020 thing says. But we never talked about a date change. It was just put on the paper and we just agreed to it. So
For the 30th and
Yeah.
not the first. Well, before it was the
No.
first.
it was the 5th of every month.
Yeah.
Due by the fifth. And if you paid it after the fifth, then you were late. Right.
I don't have it in front of me, but I'm pretty positive that Rick did provide us all as council.
The
A
date.
No, it's
list,
fine.
a list
That
that
we've
shows
been past it.
what it was and what it is now. So we did have it in front of us. And it was there. I know Rick did that first. Now, whether or not anybody brought it up or anything, that's something different, you're right. But then again, I also expect adults to be adults. And if it's presented on the city website or it's presented in something, it's there, at least something's trying to get out to people. Now, besides that, being a small town, yes, we talk to our neighbors. Everybody does, talk to each other.
Counselor, I'd like to have a longer conversation with you about this one. Because part of the reasoning we did what we did was based upon the confusion of when the next bill goes out versus when the date of the lateness began, and getting a bill that had the bill the following month having the late fee on it or not on it, and the date of the late fee going to affect compared to the date of the following month's bill. There was a real paradox, I would say, as it relates to a smooth way of a progression of bill due, bill late fee, and the running of the bill for the following month. And yeah, I'd like to have a conversation with you about and have a conversation about that timeline with you sometime. Because if there's a smoother way to do this, we want to do it.
Yeah.
But we were being challenged based upon a lot of uncertainty about the following month's bill having or not having a late fee and the date difference between when the next bill was run versus when the late fee went into effect. I'd like to have a conversation about it sometime. Please?
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you, everyone. Next item on the agenda is the executive session, which we are not scheduled for any. So guess what, everyone? It is 8:52 and we are adjourned. This is the council meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Gotta get you this.
Yes.